That's why he ate Jan.
And Juicy Lorette came over to see Reed, and I was going to diaper him, and Juicy's looking at him.
I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah.
Reed pissed
I
on
remember
you.
Reed pissed on me. So I shit on him.
In a cup.
In a cocktail.
You know what he was singing when he did it?
Pissed on the
What did
pissed
she
off.
say? Did
You know what he
you
was
know
singing
what
when
she
he
said
did it?
we were born?
Piss on you, piss on you, piss on you.
You know, when I went to the hospital to have Jerry, Uncle Ted and Juicy
I look like Dumbo.
took Jan to the park, and they put him on that thing that goes around and push it, and his toe gets caught underneath it, and they had to rush him to the hospital. I'm in the hospital having you, and they rushed him to the hospital.
Brown's Lake.
And you had
He changes the story.
No, but Jerry wasn't. Jerry
It was in
was.
Browns Lake. It wasn't.
well, whatever.
That wasn't what happened when I was born.
But
He
Jerry
went to
was-
the lake with Poppy.
Right.
Jerry had nothing
Yeah.
to do with
know
this.
that.
Right.
I said, that's a good nail, another one on. He's a wooden boy. Now find the story.
Wait, anyway, he grew up to be they took him to the hospital or wherever it was bleeding so bad. And Uncle Ted said, you know, was holding his hand. You tell me.
You weren't there. I remember it clearly.
He was standing over him, holding his hands, and the doctor was working on his foot, and he started saying, Uncle Ted, Uncle Ted. He said, you'll be all right. He's Uncle Ted, Uncle Ted. He said, you'll be all right. He said, Uncle Ted, you're hurting my hands. he was holding his hands.
I said, can you hold my cocktail?
Get your hands up like cocktail pool.
You got in more trouble.
Brian, are we crazy?
All right, you guys, this is gonna die, so get together and sign off.
Uh-oh. Good night.
Talk about the salmon salad.
You got a little bit of our background, and I hope you remember us
Wait to see the
when
front
we're
part.
old and gray, which we are now.
You'll never be
But
gray.
you'll remember the nice stories that we told
Do you have a little song to sing that you sang when you were little?
You are three little fishes in a itty bitty pond.
You had a guy who used to get. Sugar.
Three little fishes and the mama fishy too. Swim, the mama fishy, swim if you can. And they swam all over the dam.
That was a good song.
Diddy bitty wadum chew. A boom boom diddy man a wadum chew. A boom boom diddy man a wadum chew. And they swam all over the dam. I told you.
Mom.
She never had an accent. Ask my sister.
Ted did. Does your father-in-law have an accent?
I don't remember an accent.
I'm going with you.
What do you say, Papa?
Please.
Daddy,
You knew longer than me.
Please.
You hear that?
I'll give you a hint.
They said that
He had
Poppy
cigars
didn't
in
have an
mouth.
accent.
Okay.
I'll give you a hint. My name was Juicy.
You know longer than me.
Yeah.
You used to run in the house more.
His name was, my name was,
He did.
hey, my name was Juicy.
He didn't say to me, he didn't say to me, did you cock in the hoisin? He didn't say it like that. So wait a minute, Zelda, Danielle's doing a little video here. So y'all cock in the hoisin? Zelda, oh hell. I gotta have one of these.
Poland.
Okay, everybody needs to be quiet.
Little kid.
My dad came over when he was 17 years old, and he left. They were going to take him in the Russian. Wait, 17 he was. They were gonna take him
The other Poppy
Russian
story.
army.
Jan, be quiet.
He heard it from him.
In the Tsar's army. And so in order to escape going into the Russian army, the Tsars, my father was able to get a dead man's certificate, and he went under his name to escape. and he came to the United States through
Wait,
Canada.
stop 1 minute.
You mean he's an illegal
Wait a
alien?
minute. At the same time, he had a cousin living there, and the cousin
Dave.
also had to get out of there.
Dave, right?
And no, Benny. So anyhow, the cousin decided to go to Israel, and that was Ben Gurion.
Ben
Ben
Gurion.
Gurion is a cousin. When we went to Israel, we met the whole Ben Gurion family.
Yeah.
You met them.
With his jets?
The Ben Gurion.
Yeah.
We are like royalty.
Would you be quiet and let Zelda finish?
Did you just refer to David Ben Gurion as Benny? Oh, you were like that.
Who's your family?
That's like Amy Leisure.
Yeah, the strangers call him David.
So, okay, so he came over under fraudulent pretenses.
All right, so this illegal alien broke in.
Hey, Jan, be quiet. Let her tell the story.
Okay, so
Can I just clarify? Let me bring it back. Your father got a dead man's death certificate.
Yeah.
Right.
Used him to travel on a.
Estate
But he was dead, so didn't people know?
No.
The man, he took his birth certificate and
Yeah,
everything and
okay.
went under that man's name
He
in order
produced his birth
to escape.
certificate.
Yeah.
Illegal
To escape.
alien.
So that guy has
So he came,
Actually, he should be thrown out.
let her talk. He was 17 years old. He came through Canada and came to to his aunt, who was my tante. Do you remember tante?
that's my tanta.
Tanta Canada.
There's no way she can remember if she's named after
She's
her.
named after her.
Yeah.
Is that the one who went like this and didn't want to?
Jerry, Tante and Shirley. Hannah?
Shirley. Aunt Shirley.
Are you talking about Hannah who? You talking about Hannah?
I know Auntie Shirley.
She's talking about Aunt Shirley's
Her
mother.
I get a hard on.
Auntie Shirley's
You're
mother.
named after
Her name
Shirley's
was
mother.
Tante.
No wonder you have Duttons.
Oh my God. So wait, he came to live with the woman I'm named after.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Feel better now?
I didn't know that.
Nice, that's where I get my niceness.
She
I
was
didn't know
sweet.
this.
Go on, go on.
Okay.
can't
Well,
believe she's
anyway,
Auntie
he
Shirley's
came to the
mother's
United
name.
States, and his tante was his mother's sister. In Poland,
Yes,
his
yes.
mother and
How,
were
how did she
sisters.
get out here? How did
Well, she
come to
came
come out
many
here?
years ago,
You
and
got out, they got out.
she
Tante was
lived
no
in
dummy.
Chicago,
They got out.
and she raised her daughter Shirley.
She was a
Her,
damn.
her husband died in Europe. Tante's husband.
Does
But she
anybody
came-
remember Auntie Shirley's hallway? How it
Yeah.
smelled?
Yeah, oh yeah.
How
Jerry,
it-
Jerry, the
She's
wind
in the middle of a very crucial story here.
Please let
I'm sorry, but I.
What about those wind up butterflies?
Totally
They're the only ones that would know about this.
Jerry, what about the wind up
Zelda,
butterfly?
get Zelda's king.
Do
What
it
about
again.
those candies with
Zelda,
that stuff in the
But
middle?
listen, after you're done, I would like you to take this and do every little brief.
She's telling.
What do you think of this?
Story about your grandfather. He came to the United States and he wanted to be Americanized, and he read a lot of the history, and he wanted to be a part of everything, and he learned how to speak real good. And he opened up. First, he worked in a factory, and he helped. Do you remember the Goldblatt brothers?
Yeah.
Goldblatt,
Goldblatt
the
department
store.
store.
Well, my father and one of the Goldblatt brothers was his friend, and he worked for them. Then he
What
decided
did he do for them?
I don't know, but he worked for the Goldblatt brothers.
They wanted him to be a
Big,
partner.
big
He didn't
department
want to do it.
stores. They
wanted to
were
open
very
up and
wealthy.
together they
But
went.
they like took my Sears.
That's
father
what I
in.
heard.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
big in those days.
Yeah,
I
it was
remember
big.
Goldblatt.
It's not anymore. It's
Big- they have a
dissolved.
big
But
department.
anyway,
Chain of
he
department
worked there,
stores.
and then he opened up his own
Gift.
a gift shop. And he sold
How
beautiful.
old was he when he opened that?
Well, he might have been
20s?
in the 20s.
Before I
And
got
he
married,
was a
he couldn't be
kind of a Don Juan, and he
Don Juan.
and wait a minute, and when
Actually,
he
it's a
opened
Goldberg.
up, he opened
I know
up,
where I get it from.
he opened up the gift shop, and he sold beautiful Bavarian chinas and all those kind of beautiful things. And my mother,
Wasn't there depression
your
going on?
grandmother, was going with her mother With shopping, Esther. No, looking she was with
For what? What
Wait,
was you looking for?
They were going shopping
What was you
to
looking
look
for?
for a cocktail.
Yeah,
Or Donnie.
in a beautiful
And
Bavarian.
she found one on him. She found one on Al.
In a Bavarian. Hey, dear.
Cotton nipple.
In a Bavarian gift shop.
Cock ring.
It's called a cocktail.
A cock ring? Today we call them dick ring.
A little tray for
Okay, wait. So your mother was out shopping for a
My
temple.
mother was going to get a gift for Auntie Esther's son, Donnie.
Donnie Wish.
He was born, Donnie Wish.
Right.
And my mother went with her mother to look for a gift for Donnie.
And lo and behold.
And they went into my father's store, and he didn't have a cocktail in the China store.
Why were they looking for a cocktail?
Because Cocktails for Us had not opened yet.
I think she had some motive.
So they see this is fake because they just walked in. There was no cocktails.
No. But
There wasn't many cocktails.
my father
It's
took
a little
look at
wheel
my
that you put on the
mother,
end of your
and
dick
she
and
was
spin it around.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Your grandmother was beautiful. She had blonde hair, platinum. She was the only light one in the family.
Nana.
Blue eyes. No, they were all dark. And she had blue eyes like Lorraine, and she had platinum hair too when she was
Your
little.
mother had blue eyes?
My mother had blue eyes and
Yeah.
blonde hair.
Yeah, blue eyes.
I always thought she was Nazi.
She was very, very pretty.
She was a Nazi?
I always thought so.
She was the only girl. She was the only girl that my grandmother had 5 boys. My mother was the only girl. And every time I'd ask my uncles how old my mother was, because for some reason in those days they didn't tell you their age.
Oh, like they do now.
She wasn't married yet. But I would ask Uncle George, he'd say, well, she's between Harry and George. And someone else would say, she's between Al and Louis. They'd always tell me
Good thing she wasn't between Harry and Dick.
They never told their ages. Maybe because she wasn't married yet, although she could have been because she had lots of boyfriends. And she just didn't.
Maybe she was.
My father was going to deliver something she bought in the store, not a cocktail, but something else.
Cuntipple.
And he found out where she lived. And that's how he called
He's
her.
a stalker.
and-
Wait, back up. My brother was talking.
He was a stalker.
She went into the store, and how did he track her down?
He took a liking to it. He took a liking. He saw she was beautiful
Yeah.
and that, and he saw they had to deliver something to their house, whatever they
bought
purchased.
something.
The bill.
And that's how he knew where she lived and that, and then he asked her
Stalker.
out,
A
and
stalker.
that's how he pursued her
Where was
and
this?
married her
In Chicago.
in Chicago.
So did she like him right away?
I don't know. I don't.
Did she put
had
out,
a lot of
how far
boyfriends.
behind?
Well, you said
dates?
he was a looker.
How many
but
cock
he-
temples got in there?
He
Yeah.
really
I'll go out with you.
pursued
Give me
it.
a discount on
He
it.
said,
And
I'm
so-
coming over with my cocktail.
They got here.
I found one for you.